Hi guys, Steve Steele here with GreenDiet.com. Just did the PAX unboxing and gave you a little bit of information about how I've used that in the past and how I've loved it. I'm a lucky son of a bitch as we have the MB2, the Magical Butter 2. MB2 is the second revision. And yeah, I mean, I basically want to say it's just like an operating system. Like I'm a nerd, for example, but somebody rolls up something new. You know, the new Apple cat this, cat that. Well, I guess they don't use cats anymore. But once that rolls out initially, you generally want to give it a little bit of time before you jump on board to see if the shit is legit. You know, to see if the bugs are ironed out, to see what the compatibility issues are, etc. So I took a little while before jumping the gun on the Magical Butter. Now they have the MB2, which I'm very excited about. If you're looking at this device, please ensure that in order for the authentic product guarantee to be a guarantee, you can't purchase this on Amazon or eBay. Reason being is third-party sellers will sell them. Sometimes older revisions, sometimes they'll be dinged up, but the manufacturer themselves, they cannot guarantee, if the shit's been tampered with. So why would they cover it? I used to manufacture things myself. The steel concept, you might have heard of the indestructible water pipe. That's the same thing. If somebody's been taking your product and tinkering with it, or if it's just sold through another party, you don't know how it's been handled, etc. It's not worth covering, and there could be a lot of counterfeit issues as well. Anyway, enough about that. Let's take a look at this thing. It's a botanical extractor. Despite the name of butter, I'm not a huge edibles guy in terms of like sweets and things like that. Reason being is because when I get high as shit or medicated, I'm a medical marijuana patient along with a couple other people in my household. And when you get high, you get an increased hunger. And so if the only treats on hand are medicated, sometimes you'll be just stuffing your pie hole until you are stoned to the gills and just pass out. You know what I mean? Or get uncomfortably high. So what I like to do is I purchase this device with the intention of creating medical marijuana tinctures. And medicinal tinctures is something I'm very passionate about because it's a way of medicating without having to get that extra sugar or wheat or whatever. That's not exactly helpful to our bodies. You can take a tiny drop of whatever, and just like this tea right here, excuse me, sipping a little white tea, some high-end shit. You add a dropper or two into your tea and you're medicated for 6 to 8 hours. As a sufferer of ulcerative colitis, which is an irritable bowel disease, if I'm having a rough time, which includes basically bleeding out my ass and having very painful spasms in my stomach, medicinal cannabis can help to kind of quell those issues, and I can sometimes actually get a good night's rest during a full flare-up. People can be up all night tossing and turning in pain, and it's really no fun. So that brings me back to this, the Magical Butter. I purchased this solely with the intention of creating bulk tinctures. By bulk tinctures, I mean that the recipe that I usually follow is the Master Wu method. Shout out to that guy, some pseudonym online, Master Wu. I think the cannabis.com forums or something, which I covered in a previous blog post on GreenDiet.com, goes into a great method how to make tinctures, pretty much an 1/8 of ounce of marijuana at a time. With something like this, you're going to be looking at providing an ounce, 2 ounces, a quarter pound, etc. And so that you can make a tincture and be done with it. For people who are sick, people going chemotherapy, people who are really hurt, you're not gonna want to be doing this process a whole lot of times. So let's take a look at some of the other aspects of the box. Great little side note here. It says the greatest medicine of all, teaching others how to not need it. Basically, people going back and forth between, hey, eat this root, or say this prayer, eat this other botanical, no, that's poison, this, that, going back and forth. Kind of like we've been doing for prohibition of cannabis, when everyone wanted to say this and that, the propaganda and the in the early 1900s. You know, brought up by political nature, Henry Anslinger, big business, racist propaganda, etc. And recently, people are kind of opening their eyes and being like, "Wow, the real culprit at hand is big pharma, big pharmaceutical industry, which is kind of undermining health and wellness, which ultimately, just as doctors take the Hippocratic Oath, do no harm. Diet, exercise, and a holistic approach to wellness can really help us out. So that's why I'm very excited about the magical butter. If we turn this around, it goes into how you can make brownies, cookies, smoothies, sauces, soups, candies, blah, blah, blah. I don't really give a shit about any of that because the tinctures you can add to anything. It's a concentrated form of medicine, which is what I like. I like to eat healthy. Cool. If I want to put some of this, in a dressing or whatever and dose accordingly, I can. Another reason why edibles sometimes sketch me out is because sometimes if they're not labeled or if there's kids or animals around, I've heard some real horror stories, about a dog eating a plate full of brownies, and it's not that funny, you got to bring the thing to the vet, and poor thing probably doesn't know what the shit is going on, passed out for hours, this and that, or even kids sometimes ingesting them. So I prefer medicine to kind of stay medicine, if that makes sense. Not that I don't have a huge problem with that stuff. It's just my personal preference. So one of the highlights is it's supposed to make tincture in 4 hours, which is great. And let's go ahead and open this fucking thing up. I've been talking at you guys way too long. Oh, I don't even know where to start to open this. Well, it looks like at the bottom. Oh, we have another. So let's do this slowly. I was hearing if you pull it up, sometimes the lid can drop or something. Yeah, there it is, that lid. So be careful when you open this thing up. You don't want to fuck it up. Wow, that is huge. Okay, so here's the empty box. The lid, digital fire technology, scent lock. I bet that's bullshit. I bet it stinks to high heaven when you got a couple of zips in there. As a medical user, yeah, your house is probably going to be stinking anyway. Supports this and that. We're going to be friends. Great. I love these guys' marketing approach. It's rather unique and it's playful. It's fun. It differs from a lot of other corporate shit we see these days. Wow, this is sexy, man. Let me get this tea out of the way. Okay, so here is the magical butter device. This is some heavy duty shit. Got the blades. It's pretty sharp here, the blades. And the timings on top. This is wonderful. I mean, they have oil function, butter function, tincture function, 8 hours, and a clean. And I think these are all LEDs, so it just goes ape shit. It's like, it's a trip in itself, the way it's spinning and honking and making all loud noises from what I've seen. Within here too, I don't know if you can quite see it, there's a minimum and a max line. So ensure that you are at least filling to the minimum with this thing, and keep in mind there's going to be some evaporation at hand when we're messing with it. We have a Purify filter bag included, which is for filtering the herbal matter out from the rest of the tincture or the butter or the oil or whatever the hell you're making. Like I said, I'm about tinctures. I bought this shit for tinctures. Bottom seems to be almost like a bubble bag. If your caregivers, you know, are processing like hashish or whatever for you, it almost has this fine mesh at the bottom. So it looks like quality. It feels like quality, just like the bubble bags. I think this is something that's gonna last, just by the feel. Cord, you know, AC cord, whatever. Owner's manual. One of my favorite parts, actually. You know, a lot of people get disheartened when they see these types of things and they don't want to fucking read the fucking manual. I can't stand it when people are posting all these questions. How do I do this? How do I do that? Well, how about you read the damn manual and don't screw your shit up? It's I don't know if it's just an American problem or just a retard problem. Who knows? So we got magical butter, magical oil, tincture, right there, right in front of our faces. Now I'm going to do a couple of extra things, perhaps when I make mine, perhaps reducing it depending on the potency, and yeah, we're going to be using as high alcohol as we can and the best herb we can find to make a potent tincture that's going to help myself and a close family member who actually is unfortunately undergoing chemotherapy at the moment. Lastly here, folks, we have the UGG glove, which is pretty cool. It's I don't know if it's silicone, it's sticky, it's rubber, it's rubbery. Just says the glove. I don't know. It's you know, if you don't already have a glove or if you just feel like using this, I mean, it seems like a good kind of pimp slap type of device here. You're definitely a woman acting out of line. Yeah, you get the deal. So that about concludes it, folks. Now we got this big old magical butter. Damn, that sucks. I can't wait to make a big old batch of tincture and report on my site. I'd like to do a very simple how-to teach you folks how to do this for the masses. I mean, tincture is so fucking underrated. Back in, you know, the early 1900s, it was a staple in excuse me, back in American pharmacopoeia, and so I wonder, it's like everyone is obsessed with smoking this stuff, but you get a lot more out of it sometimes if you're to eat it and you're high for hours, and it allows you to sleep, particularly for medicinal users. You know, it definitely promotes that sedation and pain relief for, like I just mentioned, chemotherapy. Myself, right now, I'm kind of in a somewhat minor colitis flare, but I'm flaring nonetheless, and I'm in a lot of pain at night. So we'll get back to this, and we will show you folks how to make something. I'd like to keep it very, very brief. I'd like to keep it, you know, 2 minutes, 5-minute video. Here's how you do it. Go ahead, do it, and you know, have 200, 300, 500 doses of tincture ready on hand, just like when you buy the bulk bottle of Advil, folks. It's time to put that old school, you know, American pharmacopoeia, which was good from the beginning, back in our lives. Thank you.